Hello everyone, I am Chesterk44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Geneforge 5. Well, we cleared out an infested crossroads over here, allowing us access to South Mirror Road, which we couldn't reach before, and to Kratoa-Kel, which is where we are going to go next. So, let's head into Kratoa-Kel. We gotta help Astoria find out who tried to kill her. Let's see here. Kratoa-Kel. Okay then. Ooh, what's in here? Yeah, trash and trash. Okay. You enter Kratoa-Kel, the keep at the top of this pass between the Meritev to the north and the Storm Plains to the south. The climb up here was long and exhausting. The path was narrow and rocky with many switchbacks. Anyone trying to attack this keep would have a very difficult time. Put a handful of Kaishaks at the top of the narrow trail and any attackers would suffer gruesome casualties. The border between the two provinces is, as seems to be usual now, sealed. Travel is highly restricted in the hope of keeping new noxious creation types quarantined as much as possible. Thus, you are unsurprised to see that the guards are watching you warily and that the huge stone doors at the far end of the keep are closed. You won't be able to pass through without, at the very least, speaking with the commander. Well, we do need to speak with him anyway. Kratoa-Kel is defended both by creations and by a decent complement of well-trained human soldiers. You try to talk to them and learn something about recent events. Alas, while they are friendly enough, they tell you that they have received clear orders. All unusual visitors are to be sent directly to Guardian Makar. You push a bit more, trying to get some information about the assassin that may have passed through here. You soon suspect that this soldier doesn't know anything. Okay then. Kratoa-Kel has a handful of servile servants. They keep things clean and tend to some small patches of crops. They are very loyal, simple creatures. You can only get a few snippets of crude, nervous conversation out of them. Fair enough, I suppose. Various creations over there. Hello. This is a small smithy and shop where passing merchants and travelers can trade and get their equipment repaired. There is only one man working here now, and he is very bored. When you enter, he jumps to his feet and runs up to you. A customer, yes? That's why you are here, to trade? Oh, I hope so. It has been a slow time. I am Baragan, and this is my trading post, which has seen better times, as you can see. Can you tell me about this place? He walks to the door, looks out at the fortress that he calls home, and sighs. This is Kratoa-Kel. It is the major pass between North and South Terestia. It used to be one of the two major passes. Not anymore. It's very old. The Shapers used to have a big workshop here, but now that the borders are usually closed, it just sits here. Mostly empty most of the time. What happened to the other pass? There is another pass through these mountains to the west. There was a keep guarding it, but it wasn't well protected. It's full of rogues now. Nobody can get through. Yeah, and possibly an unbound. How old is this keep? It was first built by the woods people of the Meritev. The Shapers lost many soldiers trying to take it from them. Of course, they succeeded. The Shapers always succeed in the end. This was centuries ago, of course. What was the old Shaper workshop? I'm not sure entirely. It was sealed up decades before I came here. They called it the Stoneworks. He points to the east. Some of the old equipment from it is just outside it. It's been rusting there since before I was born. Why is it closed? No idea. The Shapers don't talk about it, I don't ask. Ever find any useful equipment? No, the stoneworks were closed up around 50 years ago, I think. Anything of value outside was scavenged long ago. As for inside, Stoneworks, eh? We might have to take a look in there. But surely you are not content. There must be something else you need. Come look at my wares. I have the best goods for 20 miles around. Well, let's see. Steel breastplate, shaped blade. Yeah, you do have some nice stuff. Even bile-infused crystals. I think I'll buy one just to have an extra. And a major healing pod. And hearing pod. I think that's good for me. I am looking for information on someone named Baston. You might have sold him something, maybe? Baston? Doesn't sound familiar. Who is he? He tried to assassinate Councillor Astoria. Barragan's mouth drops open. And you think that I never heard of anyone by that name. Never met the man. Or woman. Is Baston a woman's name? I swear I have no idea. You suspect that he is telling the truth. And I think Baston's the name of a little kid with a giant hammer. Knows a guy with a very silky voice. Ah well. But that's probably not the same Baston. Let's see. You open the door. Why does he have a canister back here? That is very concerning. and we are going to have to take the various items you have stored back here as punishment. After all, you should not have a canister. For this, you shall be punished with robbery that I will then sell to you. You get to keep your items, but I'm taking your gold. Robbery! Highway robbery! Well, okay, maybe not highway robbery, since it's in a fort, but robbery nonetheless. Nyar. Oh good, more herbs. I'm only getting a little coin from these, but it's something. Every little bit helps. Thorns that we don't need. Moving on. Oh, that's a big structure. Is that the main structure, or... Oh. You know, I do like these little touches that they occasionally put in. The sword and shield in front of the grave. Says a lot about the world when you see something like that. That's probably the commander, so let's take a look up north here first. Let's see. Elite warrior, elite warrior. Yeah, this is the barracks. Whoop, didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's talk to the commander in charge here. You enter the main hall where the commander of this keep gives orders and evaluates travelers. It is built on a huge foundation of stone. It looks like it is centuries old. Perhaps this keep was first made by the woods people of the Maritev, defending their lands from hostile incursions for many years before the Shapers came. Kratoa-Kel must be considered a very important part of the Maritev's defenses. It is run by a full guardian. He sits on the throne, flanked by creations, ready to impress a new visitor with the full glory of the Shapers. When you approach, he inspects you carefully. He doesn't care for you. I am Guardian Makar, commander of Kratoa-Kel. None pass through here but without my permission. Approach and state your business. Quickly. Very well. You approach Guardian Makar, commander of Kratoa-Kel. He lifts the visor of his helmet to inspect you. You aren't sure how much he has heard about you. He looks at you with clear distaste. You can see that he is an old man. Most Shapers, when they reach advanced age, retire, leave the control of creations to younger, more energetic members of their sect, and go somewhere calm to dispense wisdom. Makar has, instead, opted for a more active retirement. Sitting in this fort is not a prestigious or exciting job, but it is important, and he obviously takes it seriously. We got few visitors here, fewer pass through, and none without my blessing. You are a suspect creature. You have clearly been touched by illegal shaping. I can sense the essence in you. You had best show me something that gives you the authority to travel through our lands. Astoria herself sent me here. Really? Amusing. Before I evaluate that questionable claim, I want to see your papers of transit. I want proof you are even allowed to be here. Show your papers. Well then, let's see your paperwork. This should be amusing. Makar's arrogance has an effect on you. You feel your temper rising, but you choke it back. He seems to be intentionally trying to draw this response from you. He reads the papers, chuckles, and hands them back to you. Those are signed by Rowell. I should imprison you for carrying his papers, not aid you. They say I should treat a thing like you as a shaper. Ha! Your permission to pass through is denied, Warped One. Do what business you have here and go. As he speaks, the woman sitting at the desk behind him takes note of everything he says. Tell me about this keep. I see no reason to tell you anything beyond what you already see, creature. There are two passes between the Storm Plains and the Maritev. Only this pass remains clear of the enemy. We keep spies and rogues from traveling back and forth, and since you appear to be both, this will work against you. He looks back at the woman behind him to make sure that she got that down. What happened to the other pass? It was seized by one of the Unbound. The commander there was weak, not a shaper. Now there is a wide variety of rogues up there. Neither Astoria to the north or R1 to the south has expended the energy to retake it. Thus, I was sent here. Why is the full guardian sent to this fort? To make sure it stays open. It is too important a task to be given to a mere outsider. Thus I was pulled from the field by Astoria and sent to this backwater. He waves at the host of powerful creations that surround him. It does at least allow my skills to be put to use. Despite his age, or perhaps because of it, Makar is an extremely skilled shaper. What do you think of Astoria? You ask about the business of shapers, Warped One. You should remember your place. You have been a guardian for a long time. You are saying that I am old, yes? In a way that you think is diplomatic? I am a guardian, and I have been since long before Astoria came to the Maritev. My control over my creations is as strong as it has ever been. Enough of this. I still do not see why I should speak with you at all. Why do you call me Warped One? You think I have never seen your kind before? I've heard stories of Raoul's new cunning servant, and here you are. You are just the same as the others. A canister addict. Powerful but unfocused. Erratic. You have met people like me? No, I have fought people like you. Human and creation. Vile creatures who break all laws by simply existing. And I killed them. They were no match for the focus and discipline of a true shaper. How am I erratic? I mean, I've tried to be, you know, under control. Makar points at you and laughs. A nasty, arrogant, smug chuckle. Your skin flushes. You start to feel irritated, but you quash the feeling. It is surprisingly easy. Then Makar stops laughing. You have not partaken of the canisters as much as I thought. You are still a creature in my eyes, but you are at least not a reckless one. Ha! Shows what you know. Don't judge a book by its cover, Makar. What have you heard of me? Just stories, mostly false, obviously, a product of the vomit of gossip that appears in war. I only judge you by what I see, and that does not speak in your favor. If you say so. Guardian Makar looks at you with distaste. He acts like there is a foul odor in the air. What else do you wish to know, Warped One? You still have no permission to pass through here, or be here for that matter. Astoria sent me here. She believes that the assassins who tried to kill her have a contact here. Guardian Makar frowns. That is grim news indeed. He turns to the woman taking notes behind him. Salmini, be sure not to miss a word of this. For someone to try to assassinate a member of the council, this is unforgivable. I do not care for you, creature, but if Astoria thinks that you can find this villain, I will not stand in your way. You have no suspicion that this was happening. No, I am ashamed of this last on my part, assuming, of course, your intelligence is true. He looks behind him to make sure Samimi recorded that. She gives a little nod. Do you have any idea who the assassin was going to meet here? I do have some ideas. Let me think for a moment more. I wish to be sure. I'd like to hear what you know of this situation. Of course, I will cooperate fully on this matter. Who is taking notes, by the way? Samini, my assistant. I keep careful records of everything that happens here. Then, if the Shaper Council has any questions about events on the border, I can be precise and accurate in my responses. Samini is an outsider, but she is smart and loyal to our kind. Yes, Samini? He smiles at her. She turns and looks at you. There is something wrong. Something is making her very nervous. She gives you a weak smile and returns to her work. Why do you think someone tried to kill Astoria? It takes no great insight in the time of war to see why someone would try to kill a member of the Shaper Council. Of course, Astoria has occasionally followed paths that were controversial, but I think that the rebels or the Dracons are natural suspects. Or the Trachovites. The Trachovites? Their hatred for the Shapers and their ways is well known, as is their fanaticism. One of their agents might have slipped out of the Okavano swamp to attempt this crime. What sort of controversial things did Astoria do? There are rumors of her trying to make peace with the rebels. I will not state my mistrust in all rumors, and even if the libels were true, the place to deal with this is in the Shaper Council among Shapers. Do you think she should make peace with the rebels? Of course, on our terms, in accordance with all the laws of the Shapers, but she is in the council, I am not. I will trust her wisdom. Very well. Where do you think I should look for assassins? Guardian Makar thinks carefully about this. This fort is small. Little happens here I do not know about. But there is one thing here I do not have full control over. The stoneworks. You are sure that you know everything about this fort? As soon as I heard of the attempt on Astoria's life, I carried out my own investigation here. Searching, questioning. All part of my duties, you see. I found nothing, but then I did not search the stoneworks. What are the stoneworks? A Shaper installation, for working stone into tools for our use. Essence pool brains, alchemical pots, the occasional golem, and so on. It was sealed several decades ago. Some sort of accident. I don't know the details. You notice that Samini stops writing for a moment. Just a short pause. Then she starts again. Her hand is shaking. Normally I would not mention it, but for the noises. Who heard these noises? A guard on detail. Whenever a barred area is this close to an active settlement, a guard must be posted at all hours. Shaper law. Wise if inconvenient. Yeah, I agree with that. You always gotta keep someone near a barred area just in case something somehow manages to get out. Or someone tries to get in. What sort of noises? A few clunks, a hum, stone grinding on stone. Brief and barely perceptible, but it did draw attention after decades of silence. Can I investigate the stoneworks? This seems wise. It will give me time to question everyone here again and search every room, every bookshelf, every drawer. The entrance to the stoneworks is to the northeast. I will have it unsealed for you. It should be interesting. You will be the first person to enter in decades. Or at least that is supposed to be the case. Anything else you can tell me about the stoneworks, or any plans? I am afraid not. As I said, it has been closed for decades. I suspect that you will only find a tedious series of empty rooms, and the noises were only caused by minor vermin. Still, on my authority, you can and should investigate. Can you help me find any more information about the stoneworks? Guardian Makar shakes his head. You know everything I do. Even Shapers have a hard time learning about barred areas. I wish you luck in tracking down these criminals. Despite your warped nature, you might do some good. Samini, please transcribe your report of this meeting. Samini nods, rises, and turns to leave. As she walks by you, she makes eye contact with you briefly. Something is bothering her. I think I'm going to need to speak with Samini here. This must be Samini's office. It's surprisingly large and nice. 2 pieces of a strange angular art favored by the Shapers sit in the corners. She is sitting at her desk, transcribing some of Makar's conversations. She occasionally takes a sip of water from a glass goblet. When you approach, she says, I'm sorry, I am very busy. I mean, I can help, but not much. I don't know anything Guardian Makar doesn't. What do you do for Makar? Oh, many things. Take notes, draft letters, tell people what to do when he is distracted. He makes sure that my suggestions are listened to when he is occupied. The soldiers really listen to you? I know. I am quiet. I don't like to tell them to do things, but I just say what I think would keep Guardian Makar from being angry, and they listen. What keeps Makar busy? Making and controlling his creations is difficult for him. It is so hard for Shapers. They must keep such control for so long. I help him however I can. What do you think of Makar? She seems shocked. Why would you ask me that? Are you... No. Guardian Makar is as strong and steadfast a leader as the Shapers could want. I know he doesn't like you, but you should show him respect. The Shapers are our leaders, after all. Is there anything else I can do for you? I have so much to do. Can I get any supplies here? You can. We keep a smithy here to help the merchant caravans. You should talk to Barragan. Have you worked for Makar long? A few years. Since he was pulled back from the battlefield and put in more defensive positions, he had to give lots more reports. He doesn't like reports, so he found me. I feel very lucky. It is an honor to work for a true hero of the Shapers. What do you know about the stoneworks? Only what Guardian Makar told me. It is a Shaper place, barred. That means nobody can enter without permission from a high-ranking Shaper. It has been here for years. Nobody really thinks about it. Talking about this topic makes her very nervous. Why was it barred? There is no record of it. Typically sloppy record-keeping. From my predecessors, I mean. What do you think made those noises? I did not hear them, I wouldn't guess. She gets more nervous with every passing moment. Samini, what is bothering you? Bother? Me? Nothing. I am just... that someone would try to kill a member of the council, and then come here. It's just too horrible, that is all. You are sure that she is not telling the whole truth? I was sent here by Astoria herself. You must tell me everything you know. Now. Samini looks stricken. She looks down at the surface of the desk, almost paralyzed with fear. Finally, she reaches into her desk, into the back of a lower shelf, and brings out a key. I found this in the customs hall. There was a fire. Most of the old records were destroyed. I found this before all of the old records were thrown out. It was inside a scroll that was mostly burnt up. I don't know why I saved it, I was bothered. It's an old key. I think it was from the stoneworks. She shoves it into your hand. I don't know what is happening. You did not get that key from me. Please, leave. She returns to her work. Her hand is shaking so hard she can barely maneuver the pen. I find it interesting that that key is what she was so nervous about. I mean, it's just a key, and it was in old records, not something new. She's not connected to whatever happened. Not obviously, so why was she so nervous? Was she not supposed to keep it? It's a good thing she did. I mean, you never know. Keys could be useful. You meet the customs officer of Kratoa-Kel. No goods or creations traveling through the pass do so without escaping her gaze, or taxes. Right now, she looks understandably bored. She is very pleased to have someone to talk to since so few travelers have passed through the fort. Welcome, welcome! I am Officer Glenny. Not a merchant, I see. Yes, The warrior. Well, I still should ask you a few questions. Her questioning mainly consists of chat about the weather, events in Meritev, and other topics to ease the tedium. Eventually, you start looking for ways to extricate yourself. Things have been slow lately? Alas, it is true. There has been little travel between the provinces. The tariffs that keep the Shaper coffers full have not been coming in. Loyal civil servants such as I must sit and wait. One day I will be called upon to act again. Why so little travel? The borders are sealed, because of spies and rebel serviles trying to steal our serviles away, and because of the rogue creations, the creatures made by the accursed rebels. We are trying to keep them from spreading. Merchants carrying goods needed for the war are allowed through, as are soldiers, of course. Mere tinkers and refugees are turned away. The Shapers collect taxes? Why, of course! It is a small price to pay for all work they do protecting and helping us. Fighting off the rebels is not free. Fair enough. Customs Officer Glennie loyally remains at her post. However, apart from the desultory effort to sort through the old records, she spends most of her time sipping tea and chatting with anyone who passes by. Desultory? That's a new word. Never heard that before. How are you keeping busy? I have been going through the records, sorting them, consolidating them, burning those that are no longer needed. The Shapers want records of all new or unusual creation types that have been brought through. They have also asked me to try to learn what creations have been taken through Lerman's Pass, as if I could find out that information. Why do they want to know? She shakes her head disapprovingly. It is not for us to ask why the Shapers do what they do. Sometimes they audit the movement of untested creation types to make sure that nobody is doing anything they shouldn't. You never know when someone might break the law and carry on unusual creation away for sinister purposes. Lerman's Pass? It is the other main pass between the Meritev and the Storm Plains, to the west. It was taken over by rogues with help from an Unbound. It has not yet been retaken, though I am sure this will happen soon. Any way I can help? She brightens up. In fact, you could. You look like a wandering mercenary type. If you were ever around Lerman's Pass and happen to be looting and pillaging the customs office, see if their creation ledger is intact. It would be worth your time. I am authorized to make payments to recover information for the Shapers. Just beware, I've heard that the defenses of the pass are quite nasty. I think we can do that. By the way, I am investigating the attempted assassination of Councillor Astoria. You're the customs officer. You had to have spoken with everyone who has been through, so you must know something. She nods. Of course, I don't know anything, but I am eager to tell you about everything I know in great detail. Ever meet someone named Baston? I will check the records. She takes you back into the record hall. You spend a merry while looking through caravan reports for anyone of that name. She concentrates, trying to remember if anyone matches her description. In the end, it is a waste of time. I am sorry, even with the closed border, I do see a lot of people, and the assassin no doubt used multiple names along his journey. I will keep thinking, though, in the hopes that I remember something. She doesn't look optimistic. Well, it was worth a shot. I mean, after all, customs officer. Years' worth of customs record are crammed in this dank cave, giving a record of trade going back to before the rebellion. Looks like they have had a fire recently. Many of the scrolls were destroyed. The fire appears to have happened at least a year ago, well before the assassination attempt. You look through the papers and find only tedious ledgers describing a long series of caravans and traveling soldiers. There is no clue here of where Astoria's assassins came from. As I should have expected. Ensnaring fibers will sell, and grab those, why not? Really sucks that there was a fire. Oh well. It could be related to what happened, but I kinda doubt it a bit. That path leads into the stoneworks, but there's still one more building here to take a look in. I imagine this is probably the inn. Most likely. Empty inn. Oh. This hall is provided so that merchants traveling through the pass have a place to safely rest and repair their equipment. The Shapers provide this service gratis to encourage trade and good feelings. It is currently empty. Doesn't look like a caravan has been through here in at least a few days. Well, I suppose it makes a bit of sense now that I think about it. The pod is empty. A brief search for invisible treasure reveals nothing. Okay! I like that. Nice little random comment. A living tool? What's in here? This pot contains trash. The foul-smelling stuff is several weeks old. You search through it looking for clues. Alas, not all pots in Terestia contain valuable information. Despite the lock. Oh, ruined ruby, though. And coins. And... no. Yes. Fine skin. And... okay. It's fine, it's fine. I'm content with that. Okay, all that leaves is the area to the east, which would be the stoneworks, which will likely open once we get to the door here. Let me speak. There is a lone soldier standing guard at this door. It is closed, and it looks like it hasn't been opened for years. Lichen and moss cover it, and the cracks are full of dust. The guard holds out her hand when you approach.
Halt! I am Sergeant Jess of Kratoa-Kel. I tell you that this area is barred by order of the Shapers. You must turn back.
Then she drops her hand to her side.
That was a speech. You should go back. There's nothing here anyway.
I have permission to pass through the door.
You can claim that if you want. I only say what I am ordered to say. This place is barred. That means that nobody can enter. The Shapers say so.
Then you get close to the door. It vibrates slightly. Some of the dirt and mold fall away.
Of course, I could be wrong about all of that.
Why does it have to be guarded?
It's just a law. When a barred place is near where people live, it always has to be guarded. So we soldiers take turns standing back here. It's a miserable duty, but it's the law.
Why was it barred?
That's Shaper business. I don't know anything about it. I just go where they tell me.
What is back there?
It's called a stoneworks. Some sort of Shaper laboratory. That is all I know. It's quiet as a tomb. Most of the time.
But not always?
A few weeks ago. You'll think I'm crazy, but I heard something. It was quiet. I had to press my ear against the door, but I heard it. Grinding and clanking. Very quiet and only for a few minutes. It's been silent ever since, and it might have been my imagination.
I am investigating the attempted assassination of Councillor Astoria. Jess suddenly looks very nervous.
And you think I might know something about that? I don't. I'm just a soldier. I know nothing about the ways of the Shapers.
Ever meet someone named Baston?
She shakes her head. Never met the man. No, I am sure of it.
Alright then. And that way leads into the stoneworks. A lot of rubble here. Well, we'll be heading into there in the next episode. Till then, I am Chester44, that is E King and Shuriken. This has been a Geneforge 5 Let's Play, and I will see you all next time.